Someone asked me a question talking about a Yom Kotzev and Malach and Aruba. Nebuch, he wasn't feeling well. He was in and out of sleep. By the time he woke up, it was already night. So his question was, what can he do now in terms of tefila, tefilin, bרכת השחר, bרכת התורה? Yeah.
He got two virus for
Mystic all morning.
Yeah. So film, by the time I got the question was night, so film was too late. And davening, he could catch up one mincha. So he could do a double shmones for mincha. The question really is about bרכת השחר. As you make the bracha, Sheket Shannon says, Sman al Natilas Yidoim, and Asher Yotzar, and Elakei Neshama, and then the rest of all the bרכת השחר.
Isn't the night go on the previous? It's already night. It's the next day.
That's the question. That's what the person asked. So that's the question. So really, the question is when does this chiyuv start? When does the chiyuv start to start saying the bרכת השחר? Like if a person chas v'shalom didn't say a whole week bרכת השחר, Shabbos I didn't say Sunday, Monday. He's not going to say 7 times Anoisen Lasech Beipino. He's going to say 1 time. There's no certain thing of saying twice the bracha. So once the next day's chiyuv is already started, and he can't say twice the bracha, it stands to reason that as long as the chiyuv of this day is here, you can still make the bracha. So that's the shaila. That's the shaila. So the truth is, I see in the Siddur, the Alter Rebbe holds that it depends if you slept or didn't sleep. If you slept by night, the chiyuv of bרכת השחר starts at chatzos. And if you didn't sleep, the chiyuv starts by alois hashachar. Chatzos halayla. So if this person slept after the night, slept at least a half hour, so then as long as he says the bרכת השחר before chatzos halayla, that's fine. If he woke up, and I said, as long as before chatzos halayla, you could say bרכת השחר, all the brachas.
Really?
All the brachas. Why?
Going back?
Why?
Going back?
Going all the way. First, you have to wash your hands. Like, there's 3 reasons why you have to say the bracha. One is for 3 reasons why we wash our hands. Why we make the bracha is probably mainly for one of the 3 reasons, and we once spoke about it. Barichas. There's 3 reasons. One is because his hands are tummy. This guy is sleeping, his hands are tummy. He has to wash off the tumah. It's no shayla. Second is because tefillah, he's planning to daven ma'ariv and catch up noch 1 for mincha. And the third is like a coin that's going into the base of mikdash for the avodah. He's going to serve Hashem. Now, the second and third reason, you could a little bit argue here. Say a kohen only does avodah by day, not by night. There's no avodah in the base of mikdash by night. You could also say tefillah's arvis is issues, and even though they gave you a catch up, but that's a catch up. But I think there's schwache arguments. Lepoel, a yid is not mamash a kohen, huh? Still, the main avoid in the base of mikdash by day. They were dancing, they were shafting. I don't know if they did. It's a good shaila. Before they no, because I don't love dafka. I don't think it was considered like avoid when they were shoyev the mayim. It's a good question you're asking. Was there any avodah that was done by night? So the hektish halavim v'avarim were there because it was automatic. Was there any such a shayach that there is a like cutting the chitim or the sa'odim, cutting the sa'odim lamashal that were done by night? I don't think so. But it's a good question. If you could find that there's an avodah by night that required a coin and required the kiddush yadayim b'raglayim, so my question doesn't start.
It's like the guy will put my hands and touch all the stuff and start on it.
No, versteht, he cleaned his hands. The avodah of kiddush yadayim, if it's considered close enough, that he need to take it minakiyur as mamish kiddush yadayim b'raglayim. So could because that's not removed because it's the shiva. For sure, the kohen next morning when he's menaseyach. It's also to do the avodah before his mekadosh yadayim b'raglayim and makes a bracha b'shas kiddush yadayim b'raglayim. And also when the prep, these are the avodah lifnei avodah. It's like not an avodah tali. You're asking a good question. But anyway, I was thinking it's just an argument. Like, listen, at night we have to serve the Eibishter also. Not like we serve Hashem by night and
We don't
by
make a
day.
bracha. Wash your hands.
Oh, we only.
Like for tefillah, you don't wash your
What
hands.
is the reason? The Rashba says because first time you walk into the Beis Hamikdash, you wash your hands, you make the avodah, and if you're not Masiyach Das, so the rest of the day it's the same bracha. You wash your hand in the morning, and we're not Masiyach Das, so avodah Hashem all day, and therefore it's relying on one bracha. So this person, even though at night there's no avodah in Beis Hamikdash, but it's dugma naka. It's hard to imagine. Because we're not members a coin in the Beis Hamikdash. I'm not a coin. I'm a Yisrael. And to say that tefillah, that the washing is only for tefillah shachris and mincha doesn't make sense. The whole idea is because I'm mentioning Hashem's name. So tefillah arvis is a reshus. Okay, but if you're gonna daven, you gotta wash your hands. So all the reasons that apply to washing in the morning apply to this man, and therefore we should make the bracha. And also Asher and also L'Chaim Neshama. Yeah, he should make.
Normally we don't make a bracha before Ma'ariv if we wash our hands.
Right, but this guy was sleeping all day, and he never made the bracha until Yisrael in the morning.
All right.
What about Bech's Torah?
Oh, what's about Bech's Torah? So Bech's Torah is just like Bech's Shachar. In other words, like this. There's a machlokes. There's those that hold, and every time you Masiyach Das from learning, you have to make the bracha again. Our minig is, like the Magen Avraham says, that we make the bracha only once a day. When does the clock get set on that? Just like Birchas HaShachar. The Alter Rebbe loses the Loshen, and he says our meaning is like the Magen Avraham, that we do it once a day. He says, Kemoy Birchas HaShachar. So we set the clock like Birchas HaShachar. So the same thing, if this guy was sleeping all day, now he woke up, it's before Chatzois HaLayla. It's also to learn, according to all opinions, until he's going to say Birchas HaTorah. An opinion that says that if you take a nap by day and you wake up, you have to make a versteht day all you have to make again Birchas HaTorah. But even the opinion says once a day, okay, but you didn't make in the morning. Your yesterday's bracha is not counting for today. And the Laila Hoylach Achanda are yom for this. So therefore, I think it's a pasha in my mind that a person that never wasn't feeling well and he woke up at night that he should wash negelwasser and do the whole thing, but not that just all Birchas HaShachar, Birchas HaTorah, and you could say Shema Yisrael also. You must say Shema Yisrael, even though he missed Zman Krishma Shel Shachar, and he's going to daven Ma'ariv anyway. But you're supposed to be Makabel Oil Malchus Shemayim on you. The truth is, if he's going to daven Ma'ariv in another minute, it's fine. It doesn't have to say Krishma. I say in another minute. But the Indian of saying Krishma is to say Krishma. And then the rest, Karbonis, you can't say by night. It doesn't make sense to say Karbonis by night. It's he can't make the brachas, the chamachloikis. So down to Birchas HaTorah, and then the Mishnah Veilad Varim Shein Lam Shir, and that's it. You can't make Birchas. That's it. It's already by night.
Only missed film.
Mitzvahs, mitzvahs.
Wait, what about the back? When people wore tefillin all day long and all night long and whatever.
They didn't wear it by night. They took it off before the night. They didn't wear it by night. They wore it all day, but they didn't wear it by night.
Normally we say the night starts at 6, and the Rav is saying that
Lagabi Birchas HaShachar, we say that it depends if he slept or not. We say that
where do Chatzos come into the picture? That because it's already if Seis tonight is, let's say, pick up around number 6 o'clock, and the Rav is saying 6 hours later is when.
It's funny. This is one time in Judaism that we go at midnight.
I just don't understand.
We always thought that in Judaism we go by sunrise, sunset. Simplistic because it's not mamash or whatever, but we always thought the sunrise, sunset.
So how come in this instance Chatzos is the demarcation? I just don't understand.
Because really, the Alter doesn't give a reason here. But Pashtus, think about it. All the Jews used to wake up. Amolek at There was a lot of Jews. When the sun set, they ate whatever, finished off their last shir, and they went to sleep. They woke up before Chatzois Halayla. So there was a lot of Yidden, Chatzois Yidden. Today it's a special thing. They advertise Chatzois Kollel, but most of us go to sleep after Chatzois Halayla. So how could you? So think of it a second. So they were waking up for Chatzois, and they're starting their avodah of the day. They're starting now. They did take a Chatzois, and now they're gonna learn Torah if they learn Gemara, or they were Tehillim Zogers, or if they were Chassidim and they learn Kabbalah, or they learn Chassidim, and now you're gonna say they started their day. Now the Rebbe says even on Noisin Lasech Vivina, we'll read it in a minute. It starts by Chatzos
I'll put it
Halayla.
another way. What is the mucker that chatzos to be demarcation different than?
I don't know. He
than
doesn't say a
Sodom?
mucker. I don't know. He doesn't say the
So
mucker.
we'll leave it as a question.
Somebody gets up before us. They brought the Torah and all that.
Yeah. Now the Rebbe says from Chatzos. You can read it quickly inside. And the mucker, I don't know.
That should be the only thing I don't understand.
It's
I can look at that.
What?
It speaks
That
for
should be the only
morning.
thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
For waking up in the middle of the night. Usually they wake up at 6 or 9 a.m.
Who?
Pharaoh in this week's portion.
Yeah.
It,
Usually they wake up 3 hours in the day, right?
right.
Mm-hmm.
But
Here you woke up like a yid. You woke up a chatzais. Let's read it very quickly. First, in the Alter B'Shechnor, Kol HaBerachas HaShachar, in L'Ntzchai Bem, Be'echel Mem, K'nei Shlo Shama Kol Taran, Kol Shaloi Hodach, Shaloi Lava, Shaloi Chiger, Shanir Kol HaLayla, V'Utzach Lava, Chev L'Shem Eirem, Yesh Oimrim, and the Rambam Shita is, Shoysa Bracha Shal N'Ntzchai B'Lo Yamreno. You didn't hear a Tarnagold? You didn't get dressed, you stayed in bed, you didn't put on a belt, don't say the bracha. Yesh Oimrim, which is the Rosh, Kol HaBracha, Al Sidur Shal Oilam Anagotzoi, Gonna know it's not like we've been a very color. It's a mevorach not bishlan is chem. Aber broch shem lana also kemal v'shem amech mitzad gaver. Oy the sabbe gevor about the sabbe sefarim line is chem beim klein shechem al mitas aram lo yamram klal. If the brachas that are in Haga Shalom, you say it either way. But if it's for your anah, you have to have that anah. The third opinion is the Ramban's opinion. Shafila lo nischai beim klal yivorach kulon kesidra. It's not just for your own anah. It is for your anah, but there's a larger meaning to these brachas. That we make all the brachas in the morning, like the Ramban Shita. אבל חידש יבורך הנויס נסך ובינה כימא ששמיס האוזן אין מוזכרת בברכה. לכתחילה טוב מה בעצמי על דייכיב, כל הברכה זה מאף שלוי. לכתחילה you should try to accommodate for all the shittas. And not to say the brachas until you got out of bed, you wash nagavasa, you put your pants on, you put your belt on, וכולו. ומי אי אפשר בכולו, הכפונים יש ללילך וללבש ולחגר ולעתר, at least that we could accommodate for as many Rishonim as we could. Then there is a piece from the Alter B'Sidr, Sidr Bechas HaShachar, Kol HaBarach Tzalol Mavarach Afil Aloy Neschai Behem, K'gon Shenir Kol HaLayl Lei Pashat V'God V'Lei Lov HaShacherim, El Shemneir Kol HaLayl V'Neschai Behem. He was up all night, Ein Mavarach Ela Achar Shiyal Amad HaShochar, Lim Yoshem V'Layl V'Neschai Behem, once he slept. He is Neschayev again in these brachas, because the sleeping in the night is really the main mechayev. If he just didn't sleep, then we say it's alois hashakas the next day. Yochel avorch miyad sheneschayev bem vavachim mechatzois alayla ve'elach v'imnir kol alayla v'sham akor tarnagol mechatzois ve'elach yochel avorch hanois nasach v'vina aval al shmi shekoydom chatzois lo yavorch al yamten ad achar shi'ala amad hashachar. That's a guy that was up all night.
I take a nap maybe from 9 to 10.
That's by night.
Yeah. So the concept says it's in the bracha.
If a person took a nap 9 to 10, it's a good shaila. So it's not. So now the shaila is.
When did he go to sleep for the night?
Shaila is
Morchatz?
right.
So-
So the emesis. So the emesis is probably beyond. Bechza Torah would be complicated.
Right.
Bechza Torah is complicated because yesh mokum loimer that he is neschayev, and once neschayev sleep, because we do it once a day. Our minhag pashut is to do once a day, and the shaila is maybe if he's going to learn now after chatzos halayla, then maybe he should make the other brachas probably biyodo. I mean, how terrible is it? And not now the chiva bracha already started. It's not terrible to delay it. How terrible is it to delay it?
That's terrible.
You can't learn. So if we should say like the Alter Rebbe that we medama b'chas Torah to b'chas Shachar according to our minhag, and it's already he took a nap, and now it's Chatzos Halayla, and he's going to learn as Mechuyev to say Bechas HaTorah. He's going to let us sleep another 5-6 hours. L'poel, our minig is not to follow the shita that says every time you sleep or Messiah Glas.
So when do you make the breakfast here? 10 o'clock in the evening, you wake up or after Chatzos?
So the next morning.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
L'choyre. David Sorachim Adayim, but
I'll always say on the fact that I'll make it in the morning, the next morning.
right.
Take a nap.
Right. But now that you asked that to be ma'ayin in it, because it's a little bit.
Right.
If a person told you, the question was a little different. If you said that a person took a nap and woke up at Chatzos Halayla, sure they can also to learn, and you're going to sleep for another 4 or 5 hours after that. But who cares?
Right.
All our meaning is to do once a day. We set the clock at Chatzos Halayla for those that slept. But here is a little different. You asked that he slept from 9 to 10 at night. And then now it's like modern, like, and he's going to learn now. I'll smach from yesterday's bracha. I'm not sure.
And
But for sure, if a person slept from 11 to 12 or from 10 to 12
Right.
and then woke up,
and if you took a nap 6 to 7 or 3 to 4
no,
in the
our minig is
afternoon,
not. Our minig is.
so then how would 9 to 10 be different?
After it says.
So you're probably right. So
But we're saying the Seis is not the demarcation in this Indian.
That's what I'm asking.
So I'm thinking about it. I don't know. It's a good shaila. But one thing I'm clear that if you slept Hakev before Chatzos and you woke up at Chatzos, that according to our meaning you would have to say Bechas HaTorah if you're going to learn now. And even though you're going to go back to sleep later, that according to our meaning you're not going to make another Bechas HaTorah.
So he'll make the rest of the bracha and
Who? This guy that slept.
Yeah.
Oh, this the original Shaila? Oh, so it's simple. A guy woke up. He woke up 8 o'clock in the 8 o'clock. It was the winter. He woke up 7 o'clock when he sent the Shaila that he should wash his hands and say all the brachas and not berachas atzitzis and not berachas tefillin and that's it and just daven 2 items. So today there is a
morning.
Huh?
What do you do the next morning?
next morning again because this is before Chatzos. Chatzos, you see from the Alter Rebbe that the clock gets set at Chatzos or at Alois, depends if you slept or not.
Mhm.
So we pascha mainly that it's Al Seidem and Hogesh Shalom, not like the Rambam, and not like the Rosh. Mainly our minig is like the Rambam. That we set a clock once a day. Once a day you make all the brachas and we throw in even Bechas HaTorah once a day. And when do we set the clock at Chatzos Halayla or Lois HaShachar? So this guy woke up. It's now in the winter. So he asked the Shaila. It was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So he woke up 7 o'clock. So he should say all the brachas, and then next morning say the brachas again.
Is there a Gemara to that effect that Chatzos is the?
I don't know. I told you. I don't know.
All
I
right.
don't know what to talk about.
When it comes to stuff about this, that's such a big shot.
Well, depends by which brachas. It depends by which. First, depends on which. First of all, there is such a shita that says half brachas lahachmer. We once looked at it. This is Rabbi Kivegas, my mechichim, my toises that we hold Sofek brachas lahakol. I did say once that the Alter Rebbe paskins like that the sex fake you do make a bracha.
Right.
There's certain brachas that certain like the Bach has a famous shita that by Shechionu, which I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago. You might think that if you have a Sofek Shechionu, make the bracha. Because the Sofek you're mechuyev to make it.
Right.
There's other few brachas that is funny, like that there's poskim that say the Sofek of that
It has to
bracha.
be clear which not
Yeah. But that the rule of thumb is.
Unless the brachas are deraisa, like
Unless the
Like
brachas
bracha.
deraisa, like Bechas Hamazon, right? Exactly, very good. But Bechas Hamazon, so every bracha, when in doubt, you do without. But Bechas Hamazon, you can't say when in doubt, do without. The Eibush Geisen, V'chalta v'savota v'rachta. Right. Okay, let's continue.
Reb
Today
Chaim
this-
Shaul Brook, when you get older, he used to go to the bathroom at night.
Yeah.
So he get up, he wash Negev Asa, went to the bathroom, Asher Yotza, wash. He opened the Gemara, he start learning. His wife said, go back to sleep. Every time you get up from the bathroom, you open the Gemara, start learning. He said, the neshama travels so far to come to my body. I just spend the hour just like that. Learn a little bit.
I like that. My Tzedek loved that word. He used to say it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like that word. He was already an older man. Remember Rabbi Brook?
Punkt today,
He's sharp like his grandfather. So he would wake up middle of the night to go to the bathroom. He would sit and learn. And he said that well, I'm going to go back to sleep. My neshama traveled all the way down just to go to the bathroom.
Punkt today, I'm talking about Moedani for Moed.
Yeah, today the Moedani Vayid. Yes, Eli read Yom Yom for us today. Shkoyach. Beautiful, beautiful word.
Yes.
Okay. Shkoyach. Okay. So we were talking about,
Is it because the Torah? Wait, it depends on the time of the night that you wake up that you have to say because of Torah? Or not?
Yeah. Basically, if a person wakes up by Chatzois, for sure they make all the brachas on Bechas HaTorah. So today there is a simcha. There is option in this. Aaron Einhorn is having option in this for his son. It'd be 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the Young Israel. So I mentioned 2 weeks ago, and it was something about Chinוך. And the thing is that the Rebbe wanted that people should write, even though in Chabad it was like terribly looked down upon, someone that writes Chidushei Torah and publishes them, like Yeshus V'Gaiva. And the Rebbe came along and changed the attitude in Chabad. And the Rebbe said, Miltza B'Taima, he said that Amol, Siddim the Alter Rebbe, and so on, they learned the sugya with the same amkus, if they did publish or did not publish. If they wrote it and they didn't, so mitzvah, they didn't want to have Gaiva from learning it, so better not publish it. But today, if a person has to publish an article, and it easily, just like I'm going to do in a minute, take someone's article and smash it. So I'm not going to publish an article and want someone to do that to me. So what am I going to do before? I'm going to go on my Yitzchak. I'm going to search every one of the things I'm going to write. I'm going to print out every article till I have a stack like this. I'm going to go through it, and then I'm going to go to Lamitosis Shel Torah, which is to know the emes, not just to say. Sometimes when you have a kasha, you say a chidush, you say. So that was the Rebbe's. That was the Rebbe's, and therefore, the Torah journals is very big in Chabad. Like I mentioned, there used to be like Torah journals was so much, and everyone thought like, who needs Torah journals? So it turns out that Torah journals is the best thing. Today, when I do a search on a sugya, the first places I look is today's Torah journals, because why am I going to read a tshuva from 300 years ago? If someone wrote an article a year ago, he's going to quote all the tshuvas I need to know. He's going to have an article. I'm going to know everything from top to bottom. Let me start that way. Let me read a contemporary, someone who wrote on this sugya, and I'm going to know all the Ma'aram HaKohanim, know everything. So Torah journals are very good today because these Bar-Ilan or it's
Especially if they're edited.
Especially if they're edited, yes.
That's
I very
think that's
important.
the key, because otherwise,
Right.
if a Stam Balabas, collects all the articles, but he doesn't have a Masorah of what's going on, then it's like a Wikipedia.
Like in everything.
Yeah.
There was someone in our shul. In our house 2 weeks ago. She's a lawyer, very, very erlich couple, and she does wills that should be legally sound and also api halacha. And she's editing a journal that's being published for many, many, many years. But she's a smart cookie. And there's someone that always publishes a haltzach bagra, very big legal expert in the field, and he put in an article. And it was her job this month to be the editor of the journal. And she sent him back the article saying this is plain plagiarism. So he was so baladik. I'm never sending an article again to this blog. She said, okay, thank you very much. We don't need to have a black eye that we're publishing articles that are Sakaponim. Yeah, in all journals you need to have without editor. Then it's not good. Okay, anyway. Tar Shaila. I mentioned something as alumnus, but because I wanted to write it up, Lakovid, Yud Shevat and Yud Shvat, so a few more things want to toisef to, because when you want to write something up, you don't, you have to really see the emeskite of it. So I mentioned that Kilu the Rebbe Shitta is that you have to machanech a child for Hider Mitzvah. It was my feeling, but when I looked at Sichas, the Rebbe doesn't talk halacha that much, and then the Rebbe had many opinions, so it's one opinion. But a lot of times when the Rebbe talks, it's really an avodas Hashem. And the Rebbe, the Fedish, did not see himself as a poisek halachas, and the Rebbe just spoke about it in the context of avodas Hashem. So really, the question is be'etzem, be'emes. I don't want to misquote the Rebbe. Say the Rebbe mentioned it in many sikras, but doesn't mean that the Rebbe felt that was necessarily la halacha. Like the Gemara says, the hidur mitzvah at shlish, that you should spend an extra shlish to buy a nice esrog, a nice lulav. Every mitzvah you should spend more to do mitzvah behidur. So the question,
third of his income, third of his.
oh, so it's a big shaila. But mostly hold the third of the price. What's the going price of the going price of a esrog is $100. They should pay
33%.
yeah, exactly. And then the shaila is more but one way of learning it is they should be willing to pay $133 instead of $100. So the shaila is by all the mitzvahs. Should a person spend more when it's a child? So everyone quotes that the Mishnah Berurah paskins that you shouldn't, and that's what everyone quotes. And there's an article someone quotes that this is Reb Chaim Brisker and the Brisker Rav. So when I was here, I gave a share 2 weeks ago. I said but I looked it up. It's talking not true. They never said such a thing. Not Reb Chaim and not the Brisker Rav. They didn't say the Mishnah Berurah never said it. I looked deeper in the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah never said it. It's a shallow reading of the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah never said it. And Reb Chaim Brisker never said it.
The words of quotations are not the.
Let me read. You read it inside, and you'll see where they made a mistake. A lot of Acharonim, and including they asked Rabbi Lezer Steinman, and they asked the one person is funny. They asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky that since the Mishnah Berurah says that you're not mechanech a child for hidden mitzvah, so what happens at a Pesach? Where it's a hidden mitzvah not to fill up your stomach with food because you should eat matla oven. So first of all, I want to pause for a second. Even though two things, you have to realize, even the Gdol Yisrael, they're asking him that he's answering a question. Is it mechuyev to know that they're misquoting a Mishnah Berurah and that such a Mishnah Berurah doesn't exist? If it was true that there's such a Mishnah Berurah, I'm answering you. So Reb Steinman said, you're right, that the child. But I'll talk about it in a minute. This can't be true. Number one, someone asked Shiloh when I mentioned it. The Alter Rebbe says in Summah Shimon Gimel, we spoke about it once, that the Chinuch of a child is very important, that a child should not eat non-kosher. It's a terrible thing. We learn it Limud Gemara. But the Alter Rebbe says that I mean, this is the halacha, not that someone disagrees, but I'm quoting it from the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, Summah Shimon Gimel Tzav Zayin. That, for example, if a child wants to eat before Kiddush, then you shouldn't bother the kid. Adrab, it's also to bother the kid. The food is kosher. He wants to eat before Kiddush. Don't bother him. You're pining him. It's also
anyone on the bar mitzvah, or
yeah, anyone on the bar mitzvah. Obviously, there's as you'll see in a second from Reb Chaim Kanievsky's beautiful Kiddush that you have to take with a grain of salt. But that's the din. That's the din. So they asked the Reb Chaim. So anyway, So anyway, it's wrong, and it's wrong. And the whole shaila is wrong because not to eat on Erev Pesach is not a hidur mitzvah. It's a issa derabanan. It's also deraisa. It's a regular issa derabanan. It's not a hidur mitzvah. It's not a hidur. Chachamim said it's also b'memala kreisa. It doesn't ever brought in Shulchan Aruch Semeresh Ayin Aleph as a hidur mitzvah. It's also. It says also. The Gemara says it's also. It says also. Yeah. So what about talking
everything
again? They're asking, you have to remember, this was not a chiddush that Reb Chaim wrote or Reb Steinman wrote. Today they make, a lot of people like to make svarim. They especially with Reb Chaim. They made a business. People made a very good business out of it. Yeah, they go and they ask 100 questions. Right. I tell you what, I noticed. Huh?
I don't think you liked it.
I don't think they liked it. None of them liked it. But that's what they did. I think like with Reb Chaim Kanievsky, my feeling, he learned Torah Lishma. And therefore, la halacha, he said the right thing. So he said to the person, he said, you're right. Again, I think it's wrong, but he's right. He said, you have to consider, there's two things in Chinuch. There's the technical things of Chinuch, and then there's the general thing, you machanach a child. What the Chinuch is it to a child that for the Seder, that an hour or two before the Seder, he sits and eats some zazoi, and he doesn't eat matzah te'oven. So technically, you're right. But what this is nishkan chinuch by Yiddish kind. Back to your question, the truth is, if a kid is almost bar mitzvah, 2 months before bar mitzvah, and it's 5 minutes before the father's making kiddush. Sataka, it's also to pining him. Maybe yeah, you should take things in consideration. So yeah, okay. But the Etzem Inyan, there is no such a Mishnah Berurah. Now, I gave a share why there's no such Rishonim to hold this way, but now I'm going to show you there's no such a Mishnah Berurah. So how do they make such a mistake? So read it quickly inside, you see how they made such a mistake. It doesn't exist. Mishnah Berurah not only didn't say that, Mishnah Berurah says you mechuyev to chanach a child with a mitzvah. How they misread him is a pella. So look in base, the third paragraph. Hine pasuk b'shulchan aruch siman tafresh ayin hesev gimel linyan ner chaneke. Imedlike chere shoyte v'kotn lo asa klum. V'yesh mishaymer b'kotn shegil chinuch muter. That a kotn shegil chinuch, he's allowed to light the candles of the Chanukah for the whole family to be yoytze. Again, this is the machaber shita that one person does it for the whole family. Because of Ramah, well, they did done the kolachem ne'ba'is madlik, according to us, that every one of the family members light the menorah. A child should also light the menorah. What does the Mishnah Berurah write? Nearly the cotton ain't tzarich lahat mekulei hai. You don't have to be machmer that he should light on the 8th night of Chanukah 8 candles. It's enough that he should light 1 candle, and that'll be good. Okay. Before I go further, even in Pilpul, you right away see what the Mishnah Berurah holds. The Gemara says there's 3 ways of doing the menorah. The din, mahadrin, min mahadrin. He was only lenient to say that you don't have to. You don't ain't sarich lahach mekulahai to do mahadrin min mahadrin.
Sounds like b'diavad. If the kid lit 1 candle on the 8th night, it's
saying b'diavad. He's saying ain't sarich. Huh? Right. Exactly. He's saying you have to do 1 nidana. Now, mahadrin min mahadrin is an unusual thing. We only find the Chanukah mahadrin min mahadrin. Loi metzinu dugmase b'chol ha'torah kula. Okay. Now let's read the Bir Allah. Bir Allah writes, Ein lakamam and simat afresh ein zayin. B'magen Avram said kot nachaz. The heavy mishilta gebaydim. The svir lei da filu ludan shemadlikin ner l'chalach v'echad tanim p'turim. The shilta gebaydim says that the ketanim apoter. The mehi mochiv lachan chayin abadav shesh b'chiv ala godol metzad adin. Avgazad the gam godol like a kimet. He did a mitzvah. Ein mochiv lachan abadav and he doesn't mechanach a child for that. So this is a misquote from a Shilta Gebayrim. Bakim matzosib b'meiri shagam hu kosav came v'zel l'shoynei mahadrim emitzis ne'lo cholecha v'echel v'minyan b'nei beis ha'gedolim atkan l'shoynei. So for some reason they thought that the Shilta Gebayrim and the Meiri said that you don't have to teach a child with hidden mitzvah. I'm not going to go because I already proved that there is no such a mitzvah and no such Shilta Gebayrim. I just want to go to the end. So the Mishnah Berurah is Messiah. Masha Hevishem B'Machzas HaShekel Hashra. That's a Shilta Gebayrim. In the Saramo Deiche Gadol. Over there, the Machzas HaShekel wants to say that the Ramah holds that. So if we have time, I'll explain what he says, but I'll move aside. He says Deiche Gadol. It's a Deiche in my mind to say that the Ramah holds that way, because the Ramah says clearly that you should teach a child to light a menorah. Lighting a menorah is a hidden mitzvah. So what are you talking about? So Tosh Gadol to say that the Ramah and the Shilta Gebayrim holds the same way. Be'emes. Masha Mogen Avram Heivisham Dover Zel Mushum the Kosev Tchilul Das Machaber Ma'iri Al Korf Shesh Labayit B'fnei Atzmoi. Al Shemesayim Ve'efshe Dafilu L'Didan Ve'nechayev El Shesh Labayis B'fnei Atzmoi. So I want to explain what the Mishnah Berurah is now saying. Turn the page. In Simon over there, and later in Simon Tafrei Shayin Zayin, the Machaber says, "Cotton shegil lechinuch tzarich lahadlik." A child must light. Well, Avram has a problem. What do you mean a child has to light? Father, according to the minig of the Sfardim, they go to Machaber. Only one man lights. The father of the house, the tati, lights the menorah, and that's it. So what does it mean? Cotton shegil lechinuch tzarich lahadlik. Oh, so the Avram answers, "Efsher the mighty sheesh labayis." It's talking about that the child has his own house. Why does it say Efsher? Because Efsher also is in an orphanage. Efsher this, Efsher. Efsher, it's in a case that he doesn't have a father or whatever, and the child is mechuyev himself. Even according to us, that everyone lights the menorah. I think the way people are reading it in the Magen Avraham and also in the Mishnah Berurah, it's Lididan, also according to us, Ashkenazim, Ktanim Apturim. Why? Because that's what the Shilta Gebayrim says. You don't have to mechanech a child with the mitzvah. That's not what the Magen Avraham said. It's not what the Mishnah Berurah meant. If the Mishnah turned back the page, what he said was like this. He said, Be'emes, Masha, Hevi, Mogan Avram, Shah, Mogan Avram, Hevi, David, Mishum, the cost of Metchil, Ladas, Machabe, Maid, Al Koch, Shesh, Lebais. Why should a child light the menorah according to the Sfardim? Obviously, the child has his own house. Even according to us, it doesn't mean even according to us that Ramah already said his opinion that a child is mechuyev to light a menorah every night of Hanukkah because you're mechuyev to teach a child hidden mitzvah. But he meant efshar afilu l'didan, that the mechaber said that a child will not light unless he has his own house. But even according to our minig, the mechaber knows that there's Ashkenazim in the world. By the way, it's not the mechaber is oblivious to it. Afilu l'didan. That even according to our minig, that not only
You knew the Rambam.
you knew the Rambam, it's that means that the minig didan, that not only the balabais is madlik, but kol echad ve'echad madlik. So according to that, the Machaber would say, why did the Machaber say that the child should not light only if he has his own house? Because that's the minig svardim, that only the tati lights. But if the child has his own house, the child will light. But maybe even l'didan, that everyone lights. Maybe the mechaber would be masking that a child should not light because you don't have to be mechanech a child to do hiddur mitzvah. Because the Magen Avram thought that that's what the Shilta Gebodim said. But he never said l'didan like the Ramah. The Ramah's befedish said that a child. That's what what he means to say. Again, read it inside. Ube'emes. That's what he's saying. Masha kosel shama machtas ashek lahatzres das Shilta Gebodim and das Ramah udoiche godol. It's a long pilpul why how, but the bottom line he says I don't agree to think that the Ramah held like the Shilta Gebodim. The Ramah said clearly you mechuyev to mechanech a child to light the menorah. So shmei drei, I don't like whatever pshatim you're going to say that Ramah holds. You're mechuyev to mechanech a child with a hiddur mitzvah. What's the pshat in the words of the Magen Avram? Ube'emes masha Magen Avram shehevi sham davazeh mishum dekosav mitchila v'ledasa machaber ma'ir al korch sheyesh labayz b'fnei atzmai. That the mechaber that said the child should light because it must be that he has his own house. It means even laminik didan that each person lights. So okay. So according to that, the mechaber would hold that the children should light the menorah. Every child should light the menorah. So you could say that maybe the mechaber would hold like the Shilta Gebodim, the Ein Chayev Ela B'Sheish Lebayz B'Fnei Atzmai, because maybe the mechaber holds like the Shilta Gebodim that you don't teach a child for hidden mitzvah. Maybe the mechaber holds a void, but not that you want to say that the Ramah holds like the Shilta Gebodim. That's not the Echekadol. What the Ramah said. How could you reread the words of the Ramah? The Ramah said clearly. The Ramah said, "Ulididan the kolechim ne'bayis madlik b'fnei atzma kotten shigirch lichinu sorich lahad ligamkein." So all these acharanim they read superficially the Mishnah Berurah, and they said, you read the words. Like us Ashkenazim. No, he didn't mean the Mishnah Berurah like us Ashkenazim. He said befedish. It's a doichik to say that the Magen Avram holds like the Shilta Gebodim. The Magen Avram says every child is mechuyev to light a menorah. That means the Magen Avram said the Ramah holds that you're mechuyev to teach a child to do hiddur mitzvah. He only said that the mechaber, maybe the mechaber who said that a child should not light, so maybe he said he should not light because the minik svardim is that only the tati lights, and maybe he would also agree to the Shilta Gebodim that you're not mechuyev to teach a child to do hiddur mitzvah. That's all in the mechaber, not in the Ramah. Ashkenazim, we passing like the Ramah. How do we know we're passing like the Ramah? From this week's parsha. Bnei Yisrael yotzim b'yod Ramah. I know.
Forum's around the corner. Forum's around the corner.
That's not true. It's all the boys can bring
I know.
All the boys can bring it. It's not they don't bring it as a Purim Torah. They bring it as a real thing. And just like the other day, I mentioned about Hanukkah, whatever, like Ches Neres Lochim B'Selim, there's no vav there. Also here, we say the whole Welt says it's Ron Shechnorach. That how do we know? The Hanukkah is Ches Neres v Halacha Kebeis Hillel, but the way you're supposed to spell Hanukkah is without a vav.
Okay.
No, so how do you your Rosh Hashanah is all
right.
Fell apart.
Okay.
So the Rebbe says, don't worry, because with the Nekudas, you're supposed to really have a vav. So it's not gefährlich. So the Ramah, it sounds a hey and a aleph, the way Ashkenazim speak. The way Ashkenazim speak, the hey and the aleph sound the same. So for Ashkenazim, when they read the pasuk of Bnei Yisrael yotzim b'yod Ramah, so it makes no difference a hey or aleph. So they hear that you have to follow the Ramah. But the Svardim, who do have a difference between the Aleph and the Hey, they don't hear that M is over here. Doesn't come into their ears. But to us, that the Aleph and the Hey sounds the same. I'm not making it up.
I hear
All
you.
the Svardim bring it, that we paskin like the Ramah. Because in this week's Pasha it says, it's just the way it is. I know it's ironic because only to us it sounds the same.
Yeah.
But to Svardim it doesn't.
What about the
So-
Yad Ramah?
Huh?
What about the Yad Ramah?
No, he was a Sfardi.
Oh,
He knew the difference between the he knew the difference between the Hey and the Aleph.
So you read the Mishnah report very clearly.
Moshe Berurah is very clear that he holds it mechuyev to mechanech haTrabbi d'netzim. And he's also very clear.
They're in the parentheses, very clear now.
No, because he's explaining the Shilta Geborim Shita.
So that's he's bringing Malacha.
No, he's not bringing it lalocha because you have to read till the end. He's saying that maybe if you beg me, I'll say maybe the Mechaber held that way. But Chas v'Shalom, it's a doiche godel to say that's what the Ramah held. They read it so superficially. They just read it quickly, and they just gemacht schnell geleint. But that's not what the Mishnah Berurah is saying. He's verkehrt. He's saying Masha Kotsav Machzas Shekel Hashus Dasha Shel Tegebel Madasar Mo Doiche Godel. Don't put together. Don't tell me that the Ramah holds like the Shilta Geberim. You're not mechuyev to mechanech a child because he said you're mechuyev. You should look at it was a funny the Machzas Shekel how to make it work. He said Mishnah Berurah doesn't like it. He said, and that's why he paskin that the mechuyev to teach a child to light the menorah every night. Elamai, if you don't have enough candles, he thinks that the Shilta Geberim and the Midi really said that the RIshon said that you don't have to mechanech. So you know what? Be mechanechim for hidden mitzvah, not for mahadr mina mahadr. But we who were zoichet to see the Shilta Geberim, the whole context and the Midi and the whole thing, there is no such a Shilta Geberim, there's no such a Midi. But that's something that's besides the point. But the Mishnah Berurah never paskin this way. He never cared. He said it's a doich godel to say that we paskin like the Ramah. The mechuyev to teach a child hider mitzvah. So that's the bottom line. We're mechuyev to teach to be mitzvah.
Biyad Ramo?
Yeah, biyad Ramah. No.
Biyad Rashi Tevot from the Baal Shem Tov name, the Biyad Rashi Tevot from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Biyad Rashi Tevot from the Arizal, and Biyad Rashi Tevot from the Frierdiker Rebbe.
Very nice. With that type of yad, the sweet yad,
Is there something special tonight with Rabbi Shevat?
Tonight
What was Rabbi Shevat?
you mean Chamisha B'Shvat? We're going to make something a mitzvah Wednesday night or Thursday night.
Oh,
Tonight we're going to learn the Maimer of a beautiful Maimer of Yud Shvat that we started Friday morning. Shabbos morning. So I just want to finish off. Bottom line is you're mechuyev to teach a child to have hider mitzvah, and it makes most sense. It doesn't make sense otherwise. You have to teach a child when he grows up how to be a yid. So
What's the difference?
what's the difference? How could you say? So there's a total misquote over here from the Brisker Rav, and I looked it up in Erchin. There was something else. They said that says that when you teach a child to start shaking the lulav, from when he's Yodei L'Naneya, he makes the Nanuyim. So he says because the Kotna Yodei L'Naneya, that's so he says, maybe you should start teaching him right when he knows how to pick up the lulav. No, because min nanuim is a chelik of the etzem mitzvah. He says. In other words, not a hidur. Had it been a hidur, I would say teach it him a year before, and he never said he shouldn't be mahadam. It's a different the brisker of. It's saying a different thing altogether. Misunderstood the brisker of, and therefore it's imperative to teach a child to be mahadam mitzvahs. Like I mentioned that night, there's a beautiful story. I went in to buy a pair of pants near Pomegranate. Huh? Yeah. Oh no, near Pomegranate. So the balabos tells me. So I asked him, "What's your name? What's your yichus?" So he tells me, "I'm a ben ben from Reb Chaim Rappaport." So I said, "You're a ben ben from Reb Chaim. Do you know the huh?"
The town of the Baal Shem Tov?
Yeah. I said the Talmud of Baal Shem Tov, yeah.
Story of the Navi.
So I told him, there's unbelievable stories over here. He said he never heard. So I told him, I text him, the Lakutta Diburim. There's a few stories. And one of the stories, the first Chelek Aleph, Likut Aleph. It's a story that is 30 pages. Unbelievable story about the Maral, the Toysus Yom Tov and the Baal Shem Tov, about someone that he was Nebuch, he was a Goan Otzum, and then he was Rahman al he married a Shik's, and he was Machal Shabbos, and he used to write his Chedushim on Shabbos. And the Baal Shem Tov told us Talmidim why, because when he was a little child, his mother wanted to teach him about Hider Mitzvah, and he used to bring him that the father kissed the father's tzitzis and film, and the father was a mezalzel in the Hider Mitzvahs. He was a big mezalzel in the Hider Mitzvahs, and he was a big makel. The Maral had a lot of Agmas Nefesh from it. So because he had such a rotten Chinuch, so that's why he grew up to be that way. After so a couple of years ago, I was looking through old Svarim, some whatever in the Bronx, old Svarim that was going to show it Shemus, and there was a bio in Yiddish from David Ben Gurion, and there was a piece over there by his mother, an interview with his mother. So she said, "Ich gemeint a Davidl wird sein a Rosh Yeshiva."
English.
She thought that her son David will become a Rosh Yeshiva.
All right.
Nebuch. And they said there were two things that really her husband was a Moededik Tamat Chochem. She's not realizing how I'm reading the words. She's just telling a story. There was a big Tamat Chochem, and but there was a few things that he was very mezalzel. It's an old Hider Mitzvahs. He was very mezalzel. So if you want to have a son like David Ben Gurion, he mezalzel in Hider Mitzvah. But if you want,
he was the one that he gave the tour for the yeshivas.
The mitzvahs, because the mitzvahs he did learn. The mitzvahs, but there was, I forgot, there was two things she said that her husband was very mezalzel. And because he thought that was not la halacha, it was not important.
No.
And Nebuch. Huh? She didn't write it as she didn't say, oh, by the way, you read the story of the Baal Shem Tov, that's the failure. She was just telling us an interview, and she's telling about the godless of her son and about her husband. But she said, there's an interview in Yiddish. In these Sachen, my man is given there, like her husband was very makel and mezalzel when it came to Hider Mitzvah. So that's and she thought her son would be a big Rosh Yeshiva. She was an Erlach Yidina. But the problem is that her husband was mezalzel.
So instead of becoming a Rosh Hashanah, he became a Rosh Hashanah.
Right. So you want your son to
right.
Okay, so what do you want your son? We don't want our son to be Rosh Hashanah. We want our son to be Rosh Yeshiva. If it be a Stama Yidishamayim Aguta Yid, that's say that. But we would love our son to be a Rosh Yeshiva. What no? Every Yiddish mother wants the son to be a Rosh Yeshiva. What's wrong with that? So then you have to teach a child Hider Mitzvah. I just mamish 2 minutes to finish our third shaila. I don't want to go into the pilpul of it, but it's this week is Chamishas B'Shvat. So everything has to be about fruit. My children were asking me the other day about acai bowls. So the emphasis in the summer we learned about there is a restaurant on Coney Island, not on Coney Island, on Avenue J. I don't know how they make money.
Which restaurant?
But they selling. I don't know what it's called.
Via bar?
Huh?
Via bar?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right.
And they sell acai bowls.
Not everything's Chol Yisrael there.
Oh, not everything is Chol Yisrael?
You be careful.
Oh, you have to be careful. The truth is, so we ordered a big bucket. The kids like it so much, and we paid. It's nothing. A huge bucket. We pay $50. And the kids love it. But this is like a funny business. Who would come in? It's like a whole winter. Anyway, you get a bowl, and inside there is. It's really good. So the acai berries grow on very, very tall trees. There is no question in the world that the acai berries are Bode Prio 8s. These tallest trees are from the tallest trees that exist.
Higher than palm trees?
Yeah, very, very tall trees. I should have printed out what's it called before the shear, but I didn't. They're from the tallest trees in the world, and people go in very tropical places. People go and they climb. You have kids that are climbing without shoes and socks. They climb up on these trees like monkeys, 25 feet, 30 feet up, and they with baskets, and they harvest the fruit, and they come down and they fill them up in boats, and then they go back to shore and they sell them. They get a nickel per kilogram. The mamish, they get paid nothing. The thing with acai berries is that they get ruined very quickly. So that's why for years there was no market for it. Because how are you going to bring it from Indonesia to America and have it off the tree and on your plate within less than 24 hours? So a couple of years ago, someone chapped what you could do. So what they do is they freeze them immediately. They freeze them. And so, but when you defrost it, it's not a fruit. So who's going to eat it? So they chapped, you can make it like an ice cream. Some factories do it, they add a little sugar, and some of the acai are such high quality, they don't need to add anything. All they got to do is mix it so it looks like a equal consistency. And Vizel, now they do it to other fruits. One of them is like what's it called? What they call today dragon fruits. They do the same thing, and they take it in the big machines, they blend it, and maybe again, depending on which company is doing it, they maybe add a little sugar, maybe not. But that's essentially what it is. It's the fruit. If there is a little bit of sugar, that's a shaila that you have to ask a dietitian, but it's not al pi halacha because the sugar is bottled to the fruit. So the fruit is for sure acai. What's the question? The question is because it's mashed. I already gave my shita in the summer about based on what I think the Alter Rebbe shita is, but regardless of what I think, no one eats acai fruit besides the few little boys on the boat that eat a few acai before they give it to the salesman. No one eats acai besides when it's blended. So the din is that when darke bekach, anything that's blended, if darke bekach, everyone agrees that it doesn't lose the bracha. There's nothing more darke bekach than acai berries, because acai berries, no one eats it besides when they're mush. Even the other what did I say? The other type of fruit that they use, dragon fruit. Even that they don't sell that much fresh dragon fruit. Anyway, I said in the summer, Lanius Daite Al Rebbe holds that derech doesn't mean that even the roiv of that again is a misreading of the Mishnah Brura. The Kilo the Mishnah Brura said there has to be roiv lachet. It's a total misreading of the Mishnah Brura. And the Alter Rebbe anyway says befedish. It doesn't, as long as people are the derech, they eat it. You ain't loch a derech godel mizeh that there is a restaurant on the avenue selling nothing besides these two things: dragon fruit and acai, things that are ma'uchim, that are crushed, that are blended, and they put it in a bowl, and then they ask you what do you want on top. You can put whatever few things on top, and then they charge you whatever $20 a bowl.
It's like
So
overpriced.
it's very overpriced. So bottom line is the acai or the dragon fruit is both b'orei priya eitz. Now, if you're going to put a bowl and you're going to add a few things on top, so they were not cooked together, and therefore they don't become ometzis, and you have a brachas party. So if you're going to put on it, if you're going to put the toasted oats, you'll put blueberries on it. There's no bracha because you already made oats on the acai, or you make on the blueberries. If you put strawberries, you make a b'orei priya adama. Banana, you make a b'orei priya adama. And then if you put something else, which are cookie crumbs, you make b'orei minimizonis. You'll make separate brachas on everything. If you already have like something like a blueberry, you'll already make the b'orei priya eitz and the blueberry. But if you don't have anything which is b'orei priya eitz, there's no suffix at all that acai berries are the derech to eat it is this way, and therefore it's b'orei priya eitz. And even dragon fruit, I think it's quite much the derech today. Again, because it's exotic fruit and it's hard to handle, and they ripen. They're not like apples. Apples, they figured out. There's farmers that they keep the apples in the refrigerator for a whole year, and they'll only release it when the price is good enough. They don't want to sell it when the price is low. They want to sell it when the price is good for them. But dragon fruits, they can't figure out how to do that. Dragon fruits, they don't last. They don't last. And apparently you can't cut it off the tree early enough to ripen. So a lot of dragon fruits today, instead of sending it to the store, they're just going to put the mush, and at least they sell it that way. So 100% the bracha is b'orei priya eitz. Maybe shall helfen that the Eibusha should give tam b'peiros. Say that when the Churban Beis Hamikdash happened, the tam b'peiros went out of all the peiros. It's Hashem, Mashiach will come, and we'll go all to Eretz Yisrael, And will be lechel bepiria lisboya metuva, like we spoke once about the moedike bach. The bach says, lechel pedus etzorich lisboya metuva etzorich. So the answer is the reason why, because the delicious taste that's in the fruits from Eretz Yisrael gives us the Yiddish Shemayim. So we should be zoiche that Mashiach will come. We'll have an unbelievable time in the Feiris of Eretz Yisrael, and we'll have an unbelievable time in the Toisvis and the Shagasaya that we're learning.
Amen.
We-
David,
we
how
make-
are you?
We make a shechionu on the acai.
What? If you can make shachionu, no, you cannot make shachionu on that side because they last in the freezer equally all 12 months. Well, it's a good question. It has to be nikir that the kadoshim. It has to be nikir ben maru betam that this is from the kadoshim. This is the new batch, and it's totally not nikir that it's from the new batch. Now, a person that eats acai for the first time probably could make shachionu. I'm not sure. You could say it's the first time in my life I ate it. It's a good question. The first time in your life, maybe you can make shachionu on acai. But otherwise, it's not nikir b'taim b'marisoy that it's. How are you going to know if it's from the crop of 2000 or 2022 or 2023? No way you're going to know. So there's no shachionu.
Dragon fruit then would be the same.
Be nikir, huh?
Dragon fruit would be the same.
The dragon fruit the same? I'm not sure because it's a good question. That's a good question. Because in New York, there's some fruit stores you can buy dragon fruit now all year. But they bring it from different places in the world. And those places, they do have seasons. They're not growing year round. It's not like tomatoes that grow year round. It's a good question.
David, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem.
My mom made Aliyah last week.
Mazel tov, Mazel tov.
Living in Yerushalayim and Rechavia
Where, what street?
on Rehov Diskin.
Has to be
Kiryat Wolfson.
and glued together.
Wolfson, is she living in Wolfson Towers?
Please send my regards to Shraga Fivel.
Well, he's not feeling well. I was by him yesterday. He was not feeling well at all.
And you know my uncle Moshe Kranzler, right?
Yes, of course.
Send my regards to him when you see him.
He's in and out. He left,
Some companies,
I think, for a week.
and some of the others. It's a big
He left for a week.
Some of them are really designers. Most of them.
Oh, you haven't seen both of them?
No, he
Then
left
they-
for
they
a week.
glue
And
them
I
together
think
with-
Oh, I see. Okay.
And
know,
they're
he
really
did-
good at
All
that.
right. And how are you doing? I hope it's not too cold by you.
Because they don't glue it together. Fine.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting winter.
Doing it-
I'm expecting
they
snow,
just
but
put
I don't
sugar
think
and-
we're gonna get
they don't-
snow.
they don't-
Yeah, well, we have snow. We have the snow, and
together in the factory.
I don't want you to freeze in Boca.
Last night, it was 59 degrees.
Oh, I hope you don't freeze.
When we said,
It went down to 59 in Boca yesterday. We're gonna
59.
send you a sweater.
I'm wearing a sweater.
Yeah, they take.
Yeah.
But
We
When I
don't
did-
want you to freeze in Boca.
Kiddush
We're
Levana.
gonna keep up a collection.
They don't get
And we're gonna send you a sweater.
All right,
We
listen,
don't want
be,
them to freeze.
Be well.
They tell you.